Evan, I guess the big news here is Johnson & Johnson. How much should we be worried about some of these initial kind of trial results? Is this something that really derails the whole program?
I don't think this necessarily derails the entire program. Obviously, we don't really have enough details as to what's happening with the J&J product. The news just came out last night. I think it's important to understand, from my initial understanding, is that this was one safety finding in one patient, so it may or may not be related to the actual safety of the vaccine. What's important are that the vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, even AstraZeneca, while not resumed in the United States, are still ongoing worldwide, which is giving me some hope.
So as you take a look at your coverage universe for all of these COVID-related, either vaccine trials or antibody trials or some other kind of treatment, is there a company that stands out as one that you think is well-positioned if we do see some positivity with regard to their product coming out?
So I am most positive among my coverage universe on Regeneron. As many people are now familiar with Regeneron, as that was the antibody treatment that the president was given for his treatment of COVID-19. What I like about this is that we have initial data. We have data that shows that in a subset of patients, this actually works to reduce the time to recovery. And we will also potentially have data looking at the use of this antibody cocktail as a prophylactic. So think about a vaccine-like protection before we even actually have potential widespread vaccine usage. What's interesting is they should probably have about 300,000 doses by the end of the year. They're also partnering with Roche to get more doses globally.
I'm curious, Evan, we've seen that the numbers that have been tossed around about how much the U.S. government is paying for or helping to fund some of this research. It's hundreds of millions, possibly even sometimes over into the billion-dollar range or more. For a company, say, like Pfizer or Lilly or Johnson & Johnson, is the COVID program something that moves the needle in the end as much as it could for a company perhaps like a Moderna or some other smaller company player?
I think clearly for someone like Moderna, it really moves the needle a lot. This gives them a lot of upfront funding. It also gives them the ability to really show that their technology works. I mean, that's the key with Moderna. With someone like Pfizer or J&J, it's more risk sharing and allowing them to accelerate what could be a multi-year vaccine development process into, say, 6 months to a year, which I think is what's key there. So it's not so much that they need the billions of dollars to do the vaccine development. They could pay for it themselves, but it helps accelerate the process, which we all need because we want a vaccine as quickly as possible.
As you look out over the next year to 2 to 3, is there a secular trend within biopharma, pharma, and kind of biotechnology that says these are the types of companies that should be outperforming? Are you just playing the M&A play for smaller ones, or is kind of large cap pharma the way that you want to play that trend going forward?
So there's a lot of things going on. I think fundamentally, I'm still positive on the biopharma sector. There's a lot of innovation, not just in infectious disease, but in oncology, in inflammation, and rare disease. That's what I find most interesting. I agree that M&A remains a key theme in our sector, especially among the mid-cap biotech names. So those are the names that are getting taken out by the larger biopharma players like Immunomedics and Gilead. That was a really large deal, but helped bolster the Gilead's oncology pipeline. I expect to see more transactions like that. I'm looking at high-quality assets in these small and mid-cap names, namely in the oncology space, also in inflammation. That's what's likely going to drive the sector over the next couple of years.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.